Hi my friends, I hope all of you are doing well. Today we will be doing tie-dye. The materials you'll need are a cotton t-shirt, gloves, rubber band, a tie-dye kit, a bucket with warm water, and soda ash. Step 1, you're going to get your bucket, fill it with water, and mix in your soda ash until completely dissolved.
Step 2 is going to be to write your name on the tag or on the collar. You don't want to forget which one is yours, especially if you're doing this with a group. And if they're different sizes, that's going to be important not only in the soda ash, but also when you're rinsing your tie-dye later. Don't forget to write your name. Into the soda ash we go, completely submerging the shirt in the water. We're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. Alrighty, while our t-shirts are soaking in the soda ash, we're going to go over what colors to pick and how to match them together to get the optimal results. So, I'm going to kind of show you what these look like on this paper towel so that you can see when you put them on your shirt. Let's start with purple, shall we? It looks much darker here than it will eventually on your shirt. Purple goes great with any blue. You want to pick colors that don't make brown together, right? So adding this blue gives it that darker tone purple in the middle, not making it muddy at all. With that, let's say we went in and added an orange to the blue on this side. As you can see, that gets kind of muddy in the middle. It turns this brownish color. Although these two colors look awesome next to each other, there's a way to fix this. All you need to do is leave the white in between. White is a great buffer color, and it can make it so that you can pick any of these colors and not have to worry about the muddiness in between. However, if you would like a shirt that's fully dyed, you need to keep these things in mind to make sure that they go together. So orange and yellow, for instance, are great colors that can go next to each other. So there's some orange, and there's some yellow. See how it makes the bright orange in the middle? That's kind of what you're going for. Okay, so we've pulled out our soaking wet shirt out of the bucket and we wrung it out to get all that extra soda ash and water out, and we're going to teach you how to spin your shirt. This is a very important part because where you spin your shirt ends up being where your color comes out. So I like to start my spirals, which is what we're going to show you now, in the middle. So I usually draw my line about halfway down and pinch. So you want to see it kind of come up like that. Now you're just going to grab it with your hand and start twisting. Make sure you're going the same direction. I'm going to try to make that spiral as tight as possible, but ultimately you can use your hands to get it to go exactly where you want it. So see how I'm kind of pulling that tight? Then you're going to take different size rubber bands, whatever works best for you. Stretch them out a little bit, and then what I like to do is open it wide and slide it underneath so that you're not disrupting the spiral while you're banding. For beginners, I recommend 3 rubber bands to have 6 sections. Once you're banded, flip it over to make sure that it's even on the other side. Readjust if necessary. And now we're ready to add the dye. Now comes the fun part. I've put on my gloves to protect my hands from this dye because it will stain your hands for a couple weeks. It does come off eventually if you do get it on your skin, not to worry, but it is difficult to get off. So make sure you use your gloves and you're in clothes that don't matter to you. Today we chose yellow, orange, and pink. We chose these colors because they go well together, and it makes it to where it doesn't matter how messy you get, it'll still come out good and have some non-muddy colors. So let's get started. The way you're going to want to do this is to go straight across from each color. So if I'm doing pink in this triangle, just like so, it's okay if it goes out a little. Like we said, they're going to mesh together anyway. Make sure you're getting it in all those little crevices and come all the way out to the edge. And then I'm going to follow it directly across and do pink on the other side. Once my pink is all laid out there, we're going to move on to yellow. Yellow, I'm looking at my sections and I see this section is a little bit smaller than the other two. Yellow is a great buffing color as well, so I'm going to go ahead and use that in my smaller sections. Make sure we're getting it nice in there. Look at that. Look at that orange coming out already. It looks so good. This is a really popular color combination. Moving across. Makes it nice and easy to keep up with where the color goes. Go ahead and add in our orange in our remaining section. And we're following straight across into this section. Flip. And now you're gonna follow the same thing. So I had orange in this triangle. Orange is gonna fill this triangle on the other side. Follow it straight across. And if you wanted to switch up your triangles on the other side to make it just a little bit different on the back, you could do that as well. Last step is pink. Here we go. So as soon as you're done, you want to have a plastic bag ready to go because you want this to sit overnight in your plastic bag. The longer you let it sit, the brighter your colors will come out.
Now we're going to put our tie-dye in our plastic bag and tie it up and let it sit for 2 days. For our next piece of tie-dye, we moved into the grass so that we don't have to keep cleaning up the excess dye from the table. This next pattern is still going to be a spiral. I'm just going to show you a little bit easier way to add the dye to your spiral. I'm doing a monochromatic look with turquoise and navy blue. I'm going to add the turquoise to only half of my shirt using one of my rubber bands as the middle line. And then for the other half of my shirt, I'm going to use the navy blue. You're going to flip over your tie-dye and continue with your turquoise on one side. And your navy blue on the other. Once you have finished adding all of the dye to your t-shirt, you're going to put it in a plastic bag, tie it up, and let it sit for 2 days.
Okay, now we're going to show you how to do the bullseye fold. It's very simple. Again, we're going to start from the middle, pinching, but this time we're going to pick it up so that it hangs just like that. Okay, then you're going to hold it just like this to where you have a tiny little bit sticking up, and we're just going to start to band it as many times as you want. So for me, I want to do this one rainbow. So that means we're going to have probably about 6 colors with what I have here. This is what the bullseye looks like, all banded up. And the reason we did it this way is because we're going to use different colors. So we're going to start with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple.
Now it's time to add the dye. We're going to start with red, then go to orange, and now yellow, and green, and blue, and last but not least, purple.
I'm just filling in the back side now, just like we did with the spirals. Got to make sure that the dye gets around the entire circle.
For this tie-dye, we'd like it to come out more pastel looking, so we are going to remove the rubber bands and rinse it immediately without waiting the 2 days. We like to rinse our tie-dye outside so that we don't get any splatters in our house. When you rinse your tie-dye, you want to make sure that you run the water over it long enough so that the water from the bottom runs clear. After your t-shirt is thoroughly rinsed, you're going to lay it out to dry. Now that our 2 spiral t-shirts have been sitting for 2 days, it's time to rinse. You can do this 2 different ways. Either take off all the rubber bands and unfold your tie-dye to rinse, or leave your rubber bands on and rinse that way. Here is the result for all 3 t-shirts. You can definitely tell the bullseye is more faded or pastel compared to the 2 spirals. I wish all of you the best of luck when tie-dyeing your t-shirts.